Good morning, Upward Bound group. This is Sherry with Sherry's Painting Pad, and you guys have the girl with the bubblegum, blowing the bubblegum painting to do, and this is a tutorial for doing that. Anyways, in your kit you should have gotten a blue color, a navy blue, brown, red, black, white, and pink paint. You should also have some of these sponge brushes right here, and you should have a regular paintbrush also. In addition to that, there should be a disposable apron in there as well. I do recommend you go ahead and put that apron on, because if this paint gets on your clothing, it will not come out. It comes off your skin, your nails, your glasses, jewelry, all that stuff, but it will not come out of your clothing. All right, so the first thing I want us to work on painting is we're going to work on our background coming around here, and that's going to be in our regular blue color. Let's see here. I did not have any more of the blue, like cobalt blue, so I'm using like this Mediterranean type blue, and I'm going to work on doing just my background. And I actually want to have mine, instead of it being perfectly smooth, I want to be able to see some of my strokes in there, so I'm just roughly putting that in there. And we're going to do this going all the way around our painting. And I'm just coming in here and just kind of messing that up a little bit more. Now, of course, this is your painting, so if you want to use a different color, by all means, you are welcome to do so. Put your own personality into it and change it up. This is one of my favorites right here. I just love this painting. And again, like I said, I'm just roughly putting that in there. I want it to look rough. I don't want mine to be real smooth. I actually like the visual of the different texture. If you get outside of your lines, it's no big deal. No big deal at all. I'm going to turn this just so it's not as hard for me to reach, not as far. Of course, I may get done before you do. This video, you should be able to stop, pause, come back, replay it, and do it at your own pace. So if I'm going ahead of you, don't worry about that. You'll have room and time to kind of come back and do it at your own pace. That's the purpose of doing these videos. Okay, so now that I have my actual background done right here, I need to do the sides of my canvas, and I'm talking about like right around here on the edges. On the bottom portion here, I want to show this part to you first. I am going to do my edges, but I'm only going to do the parts that touch the blue. So I'm only going to come over here and do them. okay? And I'm gonna leave this part here open for the color of her shirt. And then I'll proceed to do, for instance, this side here before I move to the other side. Just because I want it to match all the way around and be universal. And I'll show you what I'm talking about when I tell you I want mine to look rough and not smooth. I'll do a close-up of it for you. Of course, if you want yours to be smooth, that is yours. You have that right to do that, okay? But this is what I'm talking about. So you can kind of see there how mine has more texture into the background. And I really like it like that, so I'm going to leave it just like that. Alright. So I'm going to take that sponge and put it over to the side. I'm not going to need it anymore. I'm doing mine on an easel, so I'm going to put my canvas on the edge of my easel. However, you may be doing yours flat on the table, so you know, it's whatever you want to do on that. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the navy blue on my shirt. Okay? And alright, I'm going to use, you can either use your paintbrush or you can use a sponge brush. I'm going to use a sponge brush. And I'm going to work on doing my navy blue on my shirt. Now this, I'm probably, because I really do want it to be a solid navy blue, I'm probably going to do 2 coats of this. Just because I have this white background, and that white background tends to come through on that navy blue. I want to make sure I cover that up really, really well. While I'm waiting on that to dry, I'm going to go ahead and get my bottom part of my shirt. Now again, if you don't want a navy blue shirt, pick a color. Put your personality into this. You can do it any way you want to. In fact, I'd love to see the variations that you guys come up with. So if you will, up underneath this YouTube video, please share your finished product because I'd love to see them. All right, so I'm going to take that sponge and put it to the side while I'm waiting on that to dry. While I'm waiting on that to dry, I am going to go to my regular paintbrush and I'm going to use the color white. And the first thing I want to do is her pearl earrings right here. I'm going to go ahead and paint those white. And even though the canvas itself is white, once you get that on there, you'll be able to see the difference in the whites. So I'm going to do this other one as well. Be careful because that blue background is still a little wet. And I don't want you to pull any of that blue into that pearl earring. Now, if by chance it's too wet and you're uncomfortable doing that, just get you a hairdryer and dry it up, okay? The next thing I'm going to do with white is her eye right here. This part is going, the big center part is going to be black. The 2 little triangular sides on each side of that part is going to be white. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint her eye white. The 2 triangular sides, not the big circular side in the center of the eye. The sides of her eye I'm going to paint white. Okay, very good. All right, I'm going to use a cup of water and wash out my brush. Get a paper towel here to dry my paintbrush with. All right, The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to do my red on the ribbon that's on her hair, the hairband. Now again, if you don't want to do red there, don't. Totally good with that. But I'm going to kind of start here and I'm going to do red on my ribbon. And I'm using my paintbrush. Get this side. She's so retro. I love it. Okay, I'm going to do the bow portion. That blue is still super wet, so be careful with it. And like I said, if you're uncomfortable with that, go ahead, get your hair dryer out and dry that up. And I will tell you that I'm going to leave mine with the first coat on, but if you want a more vibrant red, come in and do you a second coat on your red. That'll give you a more vibrant red. I kind of like the pink undertone, and the reason you have a pink undertone is because you have this white background of the canvas. But I kind of like it on mine. But like I said, if you want more of a bright red, by all means do you a second coat and you will have that. Okay. So now that I have my ribbon done, I'm going to wash that red out of my brush. And this is where you're going to need to be very careful with it, because red can be a really hard color to get out of your brush. So be sure that you get it out, because I know you don't want to end up putting red like in the skin or something, you know, like that. So All right, so while I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my second coat of my navy blue. I'm going to bring that color back over here. All right. And I'm not going to lie to you, I may even do a third coat because I'm still getting some of that white canvas coming through. And I don't want any of that white canvas coming through on my shirt. I want it to be a solid navy blue shirt. But again, that's my preference. If you like the white coming through, stay with it. All right, I'm going to get my edge again of my shirt. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry. And like I said, I am going to come back and I'm going to do a third coat of my navy blue. Alright guys, next color I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and work on my bubblegum. And that is pink. So, let's see here. I'm going to use my brush. I'm going to start off with my edges. And I'm just going to fill that in. I do want that to dry a little bit before I do a second coat. And when I get ready to do my second coat, I'm going to add a little bit of white in there with it. So while I am waiting on that to dry, I'm going to work on my hair. And my hair is black. I'm still using my brush. So I'm going to start off right here because this is part of the hairline, right below this pearl. This is part of the hairline. Okay. The hairline does go on both sides of the headband. And I'll get you to just stop that at the pearl. Do that on both sides, and then I'm going to outline the hairline on this side. And the reason I like to outline is because it really helps me visualize so that I don't go outside of my lines. I find sometimes it's easier to outline it. You do want to make sure that you have this as a solid black because you don't want any of the white canvas coming through. Unless, of course, you want white in the hair. So I'm going to go back in both directions just so that I know that I filled in all the little areas that it could be. Okay, so that's going to be my black in here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. As you see, I'm taking my brush back and forth, making sure that I get into all those little crevices that's on the canvas. And I actually don't want mine to be super smooth. I like having a little bit of waves in it. So if your paint is not super smooth, it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't. All right, so now that I've got that part done, I'm gonna work on my hair on the outer portion here. All right. So now I'm going to start working and filling in those areas. And again, like I said before, if I am going too fast, getting ahead of you, you can pause this video until you catch up. Okay, so I'm going to do my top part. Be careful with this black because this is the one color that's really hard to fix and to cover up. Like for instance, you probably can't see it in the video, but with me reaching up this high and stuff, I ended up getting a black speck right here on my background. I'm not going to stress out about it. I'm just going to add some little details into my background, which will of course camouflage that. But just know accidents happen, and there's always a way to cover it up to make it look like it was, if not go away, but it was intentional. And I'm just gonna change up my background to make it look intentional. But yeah, just be careful with your black. Okay, so now that I have my black hair done, I'm going to come in the center part of the eye right here. I'm going to go ahead and paint that black. Okay. Another thing I'm going to go ahead and do, like I said, because I have that little mark right there, I'm just going to come into my background. And I'm just going to do little zigzags and make it kind of look like I intentionally did that. But that's, you know, on me. If you don't want to do that, you certainly don't have to. Alright, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and wash my brush out. My navy blue is still wet, so I'm not going to worry about it right now, but I am going to do my second coat of my pink bubblegum. Alright. So I'm going to work on putting some more pink in here. Now this next step, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. It's completely up to you as to whether or not you want to do it. But I'm going to get just a little bit of pink on my brush, come into my white just a little bit, and I'm going to get some white in here as well. And I'll show you, this is kind of like, this is what my brush looks like right there. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to work that white into my pink, going in circular motions. The outer portion of my bubble gum is going to be the darker pink, and I have that lighter pink from that white in the center part right there. And then I'm going to get some white on my brush, and I'm just going to kind of come here and I'm going to add in some half circle accents right here throughout. Okay, and I'll show you up close what that looks like. So there we go, that's what that looks like up close. Okay, all right, so then I'm going to wash my brush, and my face and my chest neck area, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint that brown. Now because this brown is going onto a white canvas, it's going to come up as a really lighter shade. So if you're wanting something that's going to match your particular skin tone, I should say, you're welcome to change this up a little bit. If you're wanting to be a lighter skin tone, then just kind of mix a little bit of white with your brown and that will lighten it up a little bit. If you're wanting it to be a darker skin tone, just add a little bit of black to your brown whenever you do your brush, okay? I'm just going to do the straight brown, but like I said, that's completely up to you as to how you want to do that. I mean, I'm going to use my paintbrush just because I want there to be some highlights whenever I do this. It is naturally going to have highlights with it having the white background of the canvas. But don't be afraid to play with the coloring. If you're unsure what it will look like against the white canvas before you paint it on there, kind of turn it over and you can like practice on these little outer rims right here on the canvas just to see what it would look like on the actual canvas itself. Give you a good idea. I do want this to be smooth, so I'm going, after I get my paint on there, I am going back and just doing a couple of really long brush strokes, just making sure that I follow that stroke all the way through. So right now I'm just going to worry about getting paint on here, and then I'm going to smooth it out. And when I talk about smoothing it out, I'm literally taking my brush from one side all the way to the other side. I actually want it smoother than that. So, because my little brush is actually leaving some brush marks on there that I don't want, I'm going to use a sponge and I'm going to brush that across because I'm really not liking that look. Okay. That's better. Okay? Alright. So now I'm going to work on my face here, and I'm just going to use my brush. And I'm going to fill it in just because we have some really tight areas. And where I feel like I need to smooth it out again, I'll use a sponge. Now, of course, the more coats you do of the brown, the darker it will come across also, just simply because you're putting more than one coat. And on top of that, you are covering up that white canvas where you don't have as many highlights coming through. Go ahead and paint over that eye that's winking. again, I'm just going to worry about getting paint on here. And then I'm going to come to my sponge brush and I'm going to smooth that out a bit. Those small brushes don't really do it for my liking. Okay. There we go. So now I'm going to wash my brush out because I have her skin painted. Now again, if you want to do another coat of that, you are absolutely welcome to do so. Alright, so I'm going to do another coat on my navy blue, and I do see where I got a little bit of black in my navy blue, which is no big deal. I'll just do that. Wipe it with my finger. Alright, so here we go. Oh yeah, that's much, much better for my taste. If you happen to get some into your brown skin, don't worry about that if you're doing your third coat. Simply because we're going to outline this in black once it's dry. So it is no big deal. Alright guys, so the next step we're going to do is I'm going to do white polka dots inside my red ribbon here. Okay, so I'm actually going to take this tip of one of the sponge brushes. I'm going to use this tip of one of the sponge brushes and I'm going to dip it into my white just like that. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add little white polka dots randomly throughout my white headband. Be careful with this because you can accidentally get some white into your hair, your skin, or other areas if you do it too fast. Don't overdo it. You don't want it to be like too overdone. I mean, it's a red and it's white polka dots. You don't want to end up making it look like it's got measles or chicken pox or something like that. So don't overdo it. So that's all I'm going to do on my red polka dot, on my white polka dots I should say. Alright, so I'm going to wipe that tip off and set that to the side. Alright guys, at this point we need to get it to dry. So I'm going to put this on pause. I'm going to dry mine with a hair dryer and then we'll come back and we'll do the finishing touches on it, okay? All right, welcome back. Okay, so now at this point I have mine pretty much dry. There's got a few little wet spots, especially where I did my white polka dots, but that's okay for the most part. I'm going to focus on the eyes, okay? So I'm going to turn this way so you can really see. First off, on this eye, this half one right here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight that right there. Now she has some little lashes, so I'm just going to kind of come here and I'm going to add in a little flare of eyelashes going down there. Alright. Then I'm going to come over to this one and I'm going to highlight her eye above and below. Okay. And she has a few little lashes here, so I'm going to add me in some lashes right here. Okay. All right, we got to get them eyebrows. All right, so I'm going to add in some eyebrows over here. All right, so we've got those. All right. Next thing I want to do is I need to add some black into the ribbon right here. Just kind of separate that. And I want to add just a few little lines in there. And I'm going to outline my ribbon. And I am going to bring that all the way down to there, and let me come around. Okay, so I have my ribbon done right there. The next part that I want to outline is going to be her shirt. I'm not going to outline her skin or anything because I really like just the brown there, but I am going to outline the shirt. That way it kind of will look like it's part of the shirt itself, but it cleans up any little imperfections that you may have right there. Okay. All right. And I think that's going to be it that I'm going to do on that end. Now, at this point is where you get to really customize it and make it yours if you want to. So it's not in the picture, but I'm going to go ahead and I think I want to add a little white dot in the black part of her eye, just to give her a little sparkle in her eye. So I'm just going to take this tip of my paintbrush and I'm going to dip it into my white, and I'm going to come right here and I just want to add a little white touch right there. And you probably can't see it from over there, so I'm going to bring this up closer so that you guys can see that. See, I just added that little white touch in the eye. Okay? All right. The next thing I want to do, and this is totally up to you if you want to do this, but if you want to personalize your painting, for instance, my first initial is a C, my last name initial is a D. I'm just going to kind of come right here, and I think on this side of my shirt, I'm just going to do a letter C. And again, you don't have to do this. I'm just personalizing it for myself, okay? All right, now that I've done that, that is my painting for my girl. And of course, you know, change it up if you want to. This is yours. I'd love to see the pictures of what you come up with. Again, this is on YouTube, so post your picture below and let me see what you guys did, okay? Thank you so much for painting with me. Have a great day.